David fled from Naioth at Ramah and went to Jonathan and asked, "What have I done? What is my crime? How have I wronged your father that he is trying to kill me?" We could say, "Again." "Never," Jonathan replied. "You are not going to die. Look, my father doesn't do anything, great or small, without letting me know. Why would he hide this from me? It isn't so." So Jonathan's in a little bit of denial, right? But David took an oath and said, "Your father knows very well that I have found favor in your eyes." And that tells us this wasn't a hidden friendship either, right? I mean, everyone knew David and Jonathan, they're good friends, and Saul knew it too. And Saul has said to himself, "Jonathan must not know this, or he will be grieved." Or maybe Saul knows the last time I said I wanted to kill David, Jonathan talked me out of it. So I'm not going to tell him this time. Yet, this is David speaking still, "As surely as the Lord lives and as you live, there is only a step between me and death." Jonathan said to David, "Whatever you want me to do, I'll do for you." So David said, "Look, tomorrow is the new moon feast. I'm supposed to dine with the king, but let me go and hide in the field." David's hiding in the field a lot. "And until the evening of the day after tomorrow. If your father misses me at all, tell him, David earnestly asked my permission to hurry to Bethlehem, his hometown, because an annual sacrifice is being made there for his whole clan. And if Saul says, 'Very well,' then I'm safe. But if he loses his temper, you can be sure that he is determined to harm me. As for you, Jonathan, show kindness to your servant, for you have brought him," meaning me, David, "into a covenant with you before the Lord. If I am guilty, then kill me yourself. Why hand me over to your father?" "Never," said Jonathan. "If I had the least inkling that my father was determined to harm you, wouldn't I tell you?" How did Jonathan again show true Christian friendship? And I know this overlaps a little bit, but what's happening here in the relationships between Saul, Jonathan, and David? What's happening between father and son that's also affecting brother to brother or friend to friend? What do you think? Whose side is Jonathan on? Would you ever do that? I mean, maybe you would. You'd rather stick up for your buddy than your dad. But Jonathan's torn here, right? I mean, not only is Saul his dad, that's the king. And Jonathan has now been put into a position to choose sides between his father, the king, and his friend David. Why is Jonathan beginning to side with David? Right? He's willing to do this. Talk about James Bond. I mean, he's willing to do this undercover work for him, right? I'll go and see what's happening. Why is he willing to do that, do you think? Oh, right? The disciples said, "We must obey God rather than men." And I think Jonathan is beginning to realize, and David pointed it out. David said, "If I am deserving of death, you do it yourself. I am willing to take the punishment if it's deserved. But if I'm innocent, Jonathan, you entered into a covenant with me before the Lord," and he holds him to that, right? And so now I'm going to hold you to it too, and I'm going to ask you to side with me, and you need to talk to your dad again or help me out, right? And Jonathan realizes it, and so he's changing his loyalties.